Hello everybody, I'm Chris Buckle and welcome back to another episode of Rock Roundtable. Now, we're not really discussing rock music here today, obviously, but we kind of are. It's kind of rock music in a way, depends on the song. Um, we are here to discuss the music of Rare, the video game company. Specifically, the different games. You've got Banjo-Kazooie, you've got Donkey Kong Country, you've got Goldeneye, Conker, etc. So today with me I have Aiden,
Uh-huh.
Drew,
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
and Jiggylookback.
Eat lead, mother buzzers.
Oh. Okay, well, wasn't expecting that. Alright, well, we're going to be going through we're going to go through each one of us kind of in a order, and we're going to each kind of give a song we like, one of our favorites from Rail, whether it be whichever Rail's composers or whichever game. So, we are going to be probably, I think, going with an order of Aiden to Drew to Jiggy, then to me, kind of like I just did. So, we're going to start with you, Aiden. What's the song you want to list off as one of your favorites?
Well, you can't have rare music without Banjo-Kazooie music. So I wanted to start with kind of two of them, I guess. The intro to Banjo and Spiral Mountain. I feel like those two are like so iconic. I love the intro, how it's kind of like, I know Grant said this too at one point, where it's kind of like the dynamic between Banjo-Kazooie. You got like the banjo going and the kazoo. It's like the very like, contrasting, instruments. And then of course Spiral Mountain. It's just so iconic. You can't have a banjo game without that. And not like any specific version. I like all of them, even like especially the one in Smash Bros. Like, oh my god, like when that played during the reveal trailer, it was incredible. But yeah, those two very iconic banjo tracks.
Yeah, well, this is kind of like the main theme. It's kind of, it's got to be here.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's to really to Will as a whole, but especially to Banjo, what like the Indiana Jones theme is to Indiana Jones, or the Store's opening call music is to Star Wars. It's the kind of the quintessential kind of piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like, and you mentioned the Spiral Mountain playing in the reveal trailer. That just added so much to that. And then like Grant Kirkhope did that video where he played it, and then like a Banjo
Mhm.
Kazooie We're Home, and that was, oh my gosh. I
Oh
saw
man.
I saw Grant Kirkhope play those songs at concert last month. That was a unique and great experience.
I've never seen it live, but that would be amazing. These
Mhm.
songs are just synonymous with my childhood. And when I hear it, I instantly get this sort of happy nostalgia rush. And it's just it takes me back to just wandering around for hours in Spiral Mountain doing absolutely nothing. But it's just one of those tracks that I can hear. I instantly know it's from Banjo. It's got a very specific sound font. Like I just love it. It's so unique. It's uniquely Kirkhope.
Yeah, now something I always think is one of Grant's special strengths is doing all the alternate versions of the songs. You've got the more kind of low
Oh
key,
yeah.
you've got the more kind of energetic ones. You've got with Spiral Mountain, you've got the underwater version that I do kind of want to mention here. You aren't going to really hear it all that much playing the game because you'll hear it briefly during the tutorial while doing the swim tutorial with bottles, probably, but not really much more than that. But I just kind of, at some point here in this video, I want to walk that in and specifically shout out his strength with doing all the different kind of great variations to match with just various changes in environment, but still the
Yeah.
variations on the theme. That is, I think, possibly his greatest strength as a composer, as a video game
That's
composer.
Like
that's part of the rare
what?
charm, having those like environmental changes and doing slightly altered music. To reflect like, oh, you're in a cave, so all of a sudden the music gets more reverby. Even if it's the same song, it's a nice touch. I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely ahead of their time though with that. Like the way, like especially with the technical limitations of the
Oh
N64,
yeah.
like the way they had to like organize the channels to be able to like fade in.
Yeah,
Um,
it sounds always
it's crazy.
it sounds really seamless, which kind of almost makes it hard to notice at first. But it's kind of a chameleon effect that its greatest strength is how unobtrusive it is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic the way they were able to do that.
Yeah, it
Definitely.
really took me a while to actually notice and realize what was going on there. But once I did, it was like,
Mhm.
ooh, that's kind of cool. All right, Drew, what's the song you want to list?
Okay, well, I'm going to move on to talk about a different composer here, David Wise, who is with Rare like since the '80s, so like pretty much there forever. But anyways, the song I'm going to talk about is DK Island Swing from Donkey Kong Country, and I think about that one. That's like it's kind of become the most iconic Donkey Kong piece of music of like since Donkey Kong Country came out. Like it has those cool little percussive beats. It's just that how it builds up the mood and like it just and those ambient like animal sounds and it just keeps building and building with more percussion and then the melody kicks in da 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 and that I think it's iconic.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. When I think of like Donkey Kong level music as specifically not my favorite Donkey Kong level music. I'll get to that in a minute, but what I think of when I think of music where you're controlling Donkey Kong, what's playing as you're running through the forest, through the jungles, Donkey Kong. It really is this song, you know. It's the, you know, it's to really to Donkey Kong what like the just standard Mario theme is to Mario. You know, if Mario Super Mario Bros. You start up, you know, 1-1, you get, you know, you expect to hear da 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 da. You know, with Donkey Kong, you start up a Donkey Kong game and you expect from the fourth level to hear that sound before you get any of the extra variations, before you get anything else. You expect that.
So here's a real question: DK Island Swing or Jungle Japes? Because I have a preference of Jungle Japes. They're basically the same song, just one's kind of a remix.
Yes,
Or
so the remix for Donkey Kong 64, and I do love the additions that Grant Kirkhope put in that song. That da 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 da
Oh yeah,
da
I love that.
da.
Mhm.
It's, he did really great work with that, and then he did. I got a riff on Grant Kirkhope's stuff, and that's because he does little variations, all these different variations on that tune too, like around Cranky Kong, so like like a dark ominous version of it, and then you have Mario and Rabbids, and there's a version of that in there
Oh
too
yeah.
with the DK boss. You know, that it's this
Mm.
sweet, epic, grand orchestral sound that's like,
Mhm.
oh, it's so good.
It
I
Yeah,
is.
mean,
and another
It
thing, like
is.
I remember David Wise with that theme specifically. I remember him saying like he had like three different versions of like kind of like the first level theme that he wanted to do, and then he kind of just like ended up putting them all into one track because at first there was like the kind of slower song, and that was like maybe going to be the final one, and then there's like the second part, like the main like melody, and he ended up kind of just putting them all together to like kind of yeah, I like the way it kind of like builds up.
That makes
But,
sense
yeah,
because it does feel like it does definitely have several distinct parts to it.
yeah, it was like supposed to be three different versions apparently, but like he ended up just kind of putting them all together. So
you know, it's great. I like both Jungle Japes and the Swing version. Um, I kind of do. Well, I'm thinking. I'm not sure which version I like better. I will get back to you on this at some point, Jiggy. But for now, I will say it's a toss up. It's a certified toss up.
Mm-hmm.
they're both
But
very good.
Both
yeah,
really
you
good.
really
Yeah.
can't go wrong with either one. It literally is. When I think of the DK music, this is what I think of even before I think of the arcade Donkey Kong music.
Oh yeah, I mean that
This
one's
is
iconic too, but yeah, no, Donkey Kong I definitely think of like that type of that main first level theme of DKC for sure.
They had a
Mm-hmm.
slight riff of that music in the Mario movie. Very, very brief, but they
Yeah,
had it there was a little riff of that theme in there.
100%. Well, I think it's on me, right?
don't you mean 101%? 100
101%.
don't you?
If I was
Hey,
about to
64,
say
good luck.
something, if I was about to say something from Donkey Kong 64, I would have. But I'm actually not. I'm throwing everybody for a loop. I'm not going Donkey Kong. I'm not going Banjo for my choice.
Ooh.
I'm going for a title track that I feel is so iconic and captures the theme perfectly which is ironic because it was made for another game. And that would be the work of Robin Beanland in Jet
Yes.
Force Gemini.
Yeah.
That main
yeah.
theme song, man. It originally started as a Conker tune in the Roman Coliseum, but Jet Force Gemini, I mean,
Oh.
it starts off with this like ambient, mysterious kind of sounding like it just sounds creepy.
It does.
And then all of a sudden it's like it flashes and you get this epic, there's no way to describe it other than epic space tune. I mean, it's awesome. It somehow feels Star Wars and Rare at the same time in the best way.
Oh yes.
I love it.
That was
I love
great.
it so much.
It's oh my gosh, no, Jet Force Gemini is one of the biggest miracles of a soundtrack on the system of the entire era. Honestly, whenever I play it, I just can't believe that Robin Beanland got that kind of a sound out of the system there.
Yeah, all the brass and everything. It's just
It almost sounds
man.
orchestrated. It's crazy.
Well, Chris, what about you?
All right. Well, so for my first pick, I am going to be going with Donkey Kong. We've talked about Donkey Kong before. Someone did beat me to talk about Donkey Kong. I am specifically going with Donkey Kong Country 2. And I'm specifically going with a song I think is underrated. Everyone talks about Sticklebrush Symphony, and I will get to that here at some point in this video, believe me. But I'm not going with Sticklebrush Symphony. I never see anyone talk about Jib Jig. Jib Jig is great, guys. When I think of pirates, I think of this song. And when I think of great platforming, it is so fun. You know, you got those levels where, you know, it's like Donkey Kong Jr. or whatever, where Diddy's going up the mast, like the rope stuff on the mast, and the rigging on the ship, and he's going back and forth, and you got all those stuff to dodge, and this song's just playing, and it's got a really chill atmosphere. It's chill, but it's also upbeat enough that, you know, you can go along to it and kind of have a sense of urgency and it's kind of got a sense of adventure about it. It's got a great sound to it. It's got pretty good progression, you know. It kind of starts out more chill, then it kind of goes for a bit more of a cinematic feel, and then kind of goes back to a bit more of a just kind of shanty kind of sound.
Yeah, it's because it starts off simple. It starts off this dun da dun da 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 dun, and then it just like builds up and adds so much to it. I mean, it's like it just gets really big.
I love when it gets like quiet and like when the wind starts, there's like a little like wind sound effect.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's atmospheric. When I think of it, is my personal favorite Donkey Kong song. I think it is just
Awesome.
It a large,
Yeah,
you know,
good
and
one.
it comes right there at the beginning of the game, and really I think sets the tone for the sequel. Shows that its vibe, its style is a bit different than the first one of the Donkey Kong Country games, a bit better than the first one, and a bit more adventurous in a way, I feel.
Yeah, it captures adventure. Really, it captures that spirit of adventure and pirates, you know, and then like because which is the Kremlin theme of that game, and it's just like it. I don't know. It early on, you get that vibe from that track, and you're just like, from that point, you realize that like this sequel is like truly something special.
All right, we're going back to the top. It's your turn again, Aiden. What's your next pick?
All right, this is one I don't think anybody would even thought of. That it's very underrated. The whole soundtrack is the Water World theme from DKC 3 on GBA. I got to tell you. So this was David Wise had to compose a whole separate soundtrack for DKC 3 on the GBA because of the sound font. Like it didn't translate well, you know, from the stuff that Evelyn Fisher made. Like it just didn't translate onto the GBA very well. So he like remade the entire soundtrack, and nobody really mentions it. But the Water World, like the water theme, is basically like it's like almost like kind of like a remix of aquatic ambience, but then also has like whale sounds, which is really weird, but it's really cool. And then it has like a little part of like forest interlude. It's like this weird remix, and it's so good. Like nobody ever talks about it, but it's very underrated.
Yo,
Never played the GBA version.
I had no
I've never
clue.
played it either.
I had no clue this was a thing. I had
Yeah.
the it on SNES, and I didn't know the soundtrack was different. I'm gonna be honest. It's honestly the
No,
Donkey
it's
Kong.
completely different. Like all the tracks are changed. I mean, some are better than others. You know, I prefer. I mean, I prefer like I don't know. I go back and forth, but sometimes I prefer the ones in the original. Sometimes I like the GBA ones, but like they're both really good.
I always feel like the
Very underrated.
I always feel like the original is one of those games I need to get back and play more of because it is really good.
I love that one.
I love that
I like it
one.
more than the first game. I'm gonna say it.
I wouldn't go
I
quite
will say
that
it.
far. I wouldn't quite go that
I
far.
don't know that go listen to the GBA soundtrack of DKC3. I'm telling you, it is very
I'll
underrated.
need to do that.
That's
We'll,
cool.
we'll go do that.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Yeah.
Next, it's Drew's turn again. I think.
Okay. I wanted to make this be a good segue to talk about Evelyn Fisher, just in general. But the tune I'm going to be talking about is from Donkey Kong Country 3, the original SNES, which is the Cascade Capers, which is just a really good, I don't know, ambient track because especially if you just listen to it with headphones, it's just this really cool little wavy sounds. You have all the different waterfall type sounds with it. There's a YouTube channel I like to go to called Jammin' Sam Miller, and he did a restoration of all three of the Donkey Kong countries, and especially when I listen to that track, it just sounds so pristine and good. It's just really cool at setting the moods. And Evelyn Fisher, I'm just going to shout out. I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize that she wrote Simeon Seg, the map theme of the original Donkey Kong Country, and like she contributed a number of tracks to the first one as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great one.
Yeah, no, her tracks are really good. Like, yeah, the DKC3, I like that one's like more. I feel like they don't talk about as much as like the first two games, but no, I think the soundtrack for the third game is like pretty high up there for me.
It's a good one.
Yeah, definitely very atmospheric. The water theme in that game, the original Super Nintendo version, that almost sounds like a Metroid song to me. It's really cool.
So I'm gonna throw. I had a feeling when we had this conversation there was gonna be a lot of Donkey Kong, so I purposefully put in my brain non-Donkey Kong tracks, and then I was like, and then you immediately moved from Donkey Kong to Banjo-Kazooie. I'm like, I'm gonna move past that. So I recently just played Star Fox Adventures.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Like literally last night I finished it.
Let's see if I know what song this is. Let's see if I know. Go ahead.
No. So you'll definitely know what song this is because
No. I mean, let's see if the prediction I have for what song you're doing is right.
Oh, okay. Well, I love the whole soundtrack for this game. It's just beautiful from start to finish. It needs to be said. Like, this is not the song I'm talking about, but like even the Krazoa Palace, like it's a specific theme. It's like, I don't know, it sounds spooky, but it's great. But I actually want to talk about just like the main theme, okay? Because the main theme is the Star Fox 64 theme. It is that main theme that, Koji Kondo and all of them, but it's David Weiss's take on it.
I was gonna say, David Wise made that soundtrack, right? I was trying to remember.
Yeah, David Weiss made it, and it's basically, if you can imagine all the goodness of the Star Fox 64 track, plus the magic of David Weiss, plus it's kind of like live orchestral. Like it just took what was there and elevated it to 11. It's so epic. If you guys looked up Advent movie Star Fox Adventures OST, you will find this track. And it just screams adventure, and I love it.
This was not the song I was thinking of.
Let me ask you, what song were you thinking of? Because I wonder if it's what song?
I'm going to do this as my pick. It is my pick, my turn anyway, so you're giving me a chance to go into it. I don't remember the name of this song, but I remember where it plays. It plays there in the main kind of hub where you first land by all the dinosaur NPCs.
Yes, you're totally right.
It's
100%. That was the song I almost... Yes.
What's its name?
It's the Thorntail Hollow song.
Yeah, that one. That
Well,
one's
The
amazing.
one that goes like, "Hoey,
Yes.
hoey."
Yes.
Yeah, that
Oh,
one.
that's a
Oh,
good one.
I
Yeah.
love that one.
I love that song. I listen to that one occasionally. That oh gosh,
was good.
I haven't listened to it in a while, but it's great.
It is
Yeah.
really good.
so good.
All the if you go to any of those hub worlds, like honestly, they all have really good soundtracks, but that's probably the best one.
You know, guys, what really, what my favorite part of Star Fox Adventures is? It's the atmospheric effects, the graphics of the, like, that area where you go for falling leaves. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That's great.
That game still looks amazing today. I mean, that was
It
like on
looks
the GameCube.
great.
It looks incredible, yeah.
It is close to Metro. It is
Burn,
close,
like,
or maybe
water.
even on par with
Crazy.
Metroid Prime level.
I know,
in terms of atmospheric effects, it is
Yep.
great.
What I like about it is the whole environment and the way everything connects together, and
And the snowy ports look great too.
Oh yeah, those
Yeah.
are beautiful.
Well, back to Aiden.
Alright.
Aiden, what is your next pick?
So, to get a little more variety in here, I want to talk about the GoldenEye 007 pause music because
Nice.
oh yeah, perfect.
that is like you know it kind of like had like a resurgence recently, like on I see like on TikTok and all that, like Instagram, like people are like, man, this is a banger, and they're like, yeah, but no, it is. It's really good. It's so
really
simple,
is.
but like I don't know. I have it stuck in my head all the time.
It's been
But,
playing
yeah.
like at sports like events recently too. Like
Oh,
just,
yeah,
like,
that too,
in
yeah.
intermissions and like Grand Kirkhope's like, where are my royalties? Like,
Yeah, no
it's
kidding.
getting to be everywhere, but it's such a good little vibe to listen to, and yeah, you can just listen to it for a long time. It's so good.
Yep. Yeah, very iconic.
The whole
the whole
GoldenEye,
getting to it's cool.
the whole GoldenEye soundtrack's amazing. It is kind of what I said about in these real games. They do it where you could do the different variations. You know, you think about how many different and radically different sounding variations. I don't think not quite all of them are variations on the Bond theme, but most of them are. And just the way all of them sound different, and they each have these like atmospheric effects that make them fit the whole level that they're in is just amazing.
Yeah, no, that soundtrack's really good. I mean, the game too. I mean, it hasn't you know, aged the best,
I
but
still love it.
for the time, it's like it's like one of the first, not the first, but like the one that kind of I don't know, kind of like
It
made it more
established
popular.
it definitely brought in multiplayer to first person
Yeah.
shooters.
It's still
Yeah, no.
it's still probably my favorite FPS game. I'm gonna be honest, guys.
All right, I think Drew next.
All right, yeah, I want to talk about Steve Burke, who is another composer at Rare, and he did the soundtrack for Kameo Elements of Power, and the track that I'm thinking about right now is Legend Unfolds. You hear it sometimes at the end of the levels, and it's just this beautiful little choral piece that, like, I don't know, that makes you feel like you are a legend, and that you just like did this really cool thing by them getting through all these enemies and bad guys or other obstacles they put in your way. Feels very Lord of the Ringsy. Matter of fact, the whole soundtrack feels like kind of Lord of the Ringsy, and it's like a really, really grand orchestral score, probably one of the grandest that you've ever heard in a Rare game. And Steve Burke did amazing music for it.
I love that you brought up Kameo because I love the soundtrack to Kameo. It's
I gotta
so
play
good.
it more. I bought it like the other month or something. I mean, obviously I have a Rare Replay, but I also bought like an actual copy. I played a little bit. I mean, it's good from what I played of it so far. I like. It's a neat concept, like changing between the different monsters and yeah.
All right. It is Jiggy's turn again, I believe.
All right.
Yeah.
So just got to keep on the David Weiss train, apparently, because. Okay, so I described this track. I couldn't talk about Rare music without talking about one of my favorite games, Diddy Kong Racing. I love the soundtrack to Diddy Kong Racing, but the track I'm looking at specifically is ironically like I tend to hate these kind of levels. Well, hate's a strong word. I tend to dislike these kind of themed levels because they always seem similar. But Frosty Village
Oh yeah.
is iconic, and like you get your stereotypical like ice kind of music. I don't know how to describe. Like when I think of like an ice level, you get kind of like the icicles and stuff, and it's never bad. I tend to always like the music, but I'm just saying it's a vibe, right? And I feel like Frosty Village kind of throws that on. Like it gives you like this like whimsical Christmas is probably the
Yes.
best way to describe it. I love it so much. I think I described it in one of my videos as a soundtrack that would make the Queen of Christmas herself, Mariah Carey, jealous. I'm like, it's so good. Frosty Village is just it didn't have to be that good, but it hits hard. Oh,
Yeah, I never actually finished Diddy Kong Racing, so I've been
Same.
playing through that, like to actually finish it this time. And I'm doing some of the silver coin challenges. They're definitely take a bit of practice, but yeah, no, it's great. That whole soundtrack. Yeah, definitely a classic. That game.
yeah, it is.
Well,
It is.
I'll say, and this gives me a good chance to go into my next pick. I'm always a big fan of winter music in video games, especially in Mario, but also in rail games, and I think you all see where this is going.
Yep.
Freezeezy Peak, the probably
Oh
the
yeah.
best song in the entire
have that one,
series,
yeah.
honestly,
Oh,
in my
Gosh,
opinion.
Freezeezy Peak. I have so many memories of just like listening to that as a kid, and just thinking like this is just so good.
It
You know,
blows. It blows almost, maybe even. I think it blows every other rail song, every other banjo song out of the water, and I think it blows almost, if not every other video game song. I think there's maybe a few in Zelda that can compete with it, but it blows, I think, almost every other video game soundtrack song just out of the water.
And this shows how varying opinions can be because in my mind it's not even the best banjo song. I
Well,
do like it. Like it's definitely top
Oh,
3.
yeah.
It's really good. But in my mind the top song from Banjo-Kazooie is Treasure Trove Cove.
that's the
I
other
was
one.
about to say that.
Yeah, I
That's
was
the
about to
other
say
one.
that.
That's the
Stroke
other
Cove
one.
was
That one's up there.
I have
Those
that.
are the
Yeah, I have that on my list.
those
That's
are
my favorite from
those
the
those are
game.
those are the top 2,
Yep.
and those are the top 2, and they will both. I mean, I'd say that about Treasure Trove Cove too. It blows most of the video game music out of the water. I am a little bit partial to Freezeezy Peak. As I said, I'm a big fan of these winter level soundtracks. But Treasure Trove
Yeah.
Cove also does it. There's not much in any other game that can compete with it. There's maybe a few Zelda songs. I'm not even sure if there's any for Mario, I'm going to be honest. I mean, maybe the Peach's Castle theme from 64, but I'm not even sure of that. They just the upper echelon of video game music in general. Treasure Trove Cove, Freezeezy Peak, they just blow almost anything else out of the water, you know.
Yeah.
Freezeezy Peak. I mean, just thinking of that song. Of course, I look, when it goes into that grand sound, like bom 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 bom
Yeah.
bom, or it goes to the grand sound. But I would say that song probably was literally got me to buy Nuts and Bolts. The thing because the arrangement of that in
Oh,
Nuts
yeah,
and Bolts with
Banjo Land.
Banjo Land, with the full
Oh, man,
orchestra in
dude.
it. I mean, I was just like, I don't care about the. They can do whatever they want with the gameplay. I'm
I
buying it
love the
just
Banjo Land
for-
sound.
I'm buying it for
Yeah,
that music because it was oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Just
Yeah, the Nuts and Bolts. Say what you will about the game, but the soundtrack for Nuts and Bolts was incredible.
Incredible.
Just the remix. Yeah.
That's probably my favorite world of the game, although I don't know Treasure Trove
Oh,
Cove
yeah.
also exists because I've never been a big fan of the Trinkley minigame, but otherwise, I mean, just running around it, I really love the look of the snow, and you've got this just
Mhm.
awesome, really epic, grandiose sounding thing. It sounds, almost fully orchestrated. It's very Christmassy sounding in a way, I guess. I mean, it's a good song to listen to. I listen to this song at times if it's like Christmas time, just without even playing the game. And I listen to it even without playing the game in the summer. But I have it almost on repeat during the Christmas season. Even more so than any other song.
Yeah, very good.
Some of the
Really
best
good
video game
theme, yeah.
songs. It's and as I said, these wintry themes tend to be favorites of mine, and this one just is probably the best of any winter theme in any. Well, I know it is. I know it is because I can't think of any other one that is better than it. That's a winter level theme.
It's
Yes,
great.
definitely.
I love it.
All right, Aiden, it's your turn again. What's your next pick?
All right, so we're gonna. I have one from Conker's Bad Fur Day. We got Windy, the main theme of the windmill hub area.
Yes.
Can't go wrong. It's classic. I mean, it's just such a upbeat and happy little tune.
It really is.
Like,
And I think like there's kind of like a big long track listing, which is Windy and Co., which shows like all the variations of that particular tune.
that's true because they had the different variation, kind of like
Yeah, it's
Banjo,
so
where
good.
you go to
They
different areas.
reused it so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's awesome.
Yeah.
And what I think I posted this online like a little while ago, but like there's this one particular part that's like because Robin Beeling had these really cool sounding string samples that just hit just right, and they just sound so cool when you hear them. They sound really cool in this song.
Oh yeah. Yep, very, very iconic. First thing I think of when I think of Conker, first song. But yep, that one, and also there was that one. I think it's kind of underrated where it's like when you're flying around as a bat.
Oh,
I forget
spooky.
what the.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
forgot what it was called.
Yes. Dun 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 dun
That one's
dun
really
dun
good.
dun dun
Dum
dun.
bum
Yeah.
bum 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 bum
Yeah.
bum 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 bum.
Even though that
Yeah, that
section's
was
kind of tedious times.
Again, showing like Robin Beelin's absolute mastery of the hardware that he could make those kind of sounds come out of the N64.
It's insane. Yeah, it's like sounds like a violin, like a real I don't know how he did it. Yep, those two are
Magic.
very good.
He did it through the power of context sensitivity.
Yes.
Exactly. Pulls a violin out.
No, that's Mumbo.
You can hook 'em.
Exactly.
All right, Drew, it's your turn next, I believe. What's your next pick?
All right, I'm going to go into a little bit of an unorthodox territory here and like go into even let's see, very early on in Rare, before like the days of Banjo-Kazooie, they were working on a game called Project Dream, which was one of Grant Kirkhope's pretty much first original work for Rare. And as a matter of fact, it's kind of the genesis of Grant Kirkhope in a lot of ways. But the tune that I'm thinking of is a song called Shanty, and it goes da 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 da, and it is such a good little piece. And there's so many tunes that Grant Kirkhope used in later games from Dream, but that's just one that just kind of just stayed back there. And I think it's just a great little beautiful piece that really captured the mood of what they were going for, and it makes me kind of sad that like it never fully came to fruition there.
Yeah, well, Project Dream never really came out as a game, but the music all came out, so it's not really a soundtrack. It's honestly kind of a studio album in the way it actually exists, you know? Since it really is just the music.
Yeah, I haven't listened to much of the Dream stuff, to be honest.
You should.
I'm
It's
sure
pretty
it's
good.
good. I mean, right. Yeah.
Yeah, they even had something like a Rare Replay, I believe. Like it's something that you could archive some of like that whole section about it, and then they had like a place where you could listen to some of the music from it. Pretty overall important part of their history, like with them like getting started.
Grant put the whole thing, I think, on his YouTube at some point. You can like
yes, he
listen
put a
to
lot of the tracks on there, and I will mention as well. Like I don't know why the idea stuck in my head when I heard Big Belly. It was literally in my head for years, this idea like, what if I could just bring that to life? What if I could just make that real? And it was one of the earliest things I did for my channel. I did that with all the burping and all the farting, and I loved it doing it. Grant Kirkhope really liked it too. It was a fun little project I did.
I do not think I've seen that specific video.
Yes, it's very early on in the channel, like very early on, so you'll have to scroll back. I can send you the link afterwards.
Once we're done filming, he'll send the link in here so me and Aiden can see it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I can do that.
It's funny. I actually saw. I don't know why I found it. I think I was just like creeping on your channel and looking at your content for whatever reason, because we always talk about content.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that, and I think I was like, dude, you need to do more stuff like this because it was really funny. I was
yeah.
like, just watching you sit at a table and eat and burp, and it was just perfect.
Well, yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, it was I had someone my brother-in-law helped me with the filming and editing and things like that, and it worked out. It just worked out at the time. It very much did.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jiggy, it's your turn.
All right. I do not believe it was said, but one song that I really like from a Rare game, the title track from Grab by the Ghoulies.
I had this on my list. I was really gonna.
Ah!
It's like the next one that I had. That I was
Yes.
gonna say.
Grab by the Ghoulies. Grant Kirkhope.
Yeah,
I actually
love that.
didn't know that was Grant Kirkhope, but it's just such a. It,
Oh, yeah.
it does feel very Mad Monster Mansion, which is probably why I
Yes.
like
Mhm.
it.
Pretty much the whole soundtrack is Mad Monster Mansion.
Yes, and Mad Monster Mansion is a good track too, honorable mention. But I think
Yes.
Grab by the Ghoulies just took what it did and expanded upon it, and it's just so. I mean, 4 words. Grab by the Ghoulies.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like, you hear the
And
whole
I understand
thing.
that's a bit of a euphemism right there.
Yeah, I know.
That's one of the games where
Yeah, it's funny how they literally named the game that.
that's one of those
Mhm.
games
I
where
love that game. Though.
it's one of those games I was never quite able to get into, or at least haven't been able to yet, because the gameplay's not really exactly my style. But when I played of it, yeah, the atmosphere of the whole graphics, music, sound effects, etc., all that stuff on point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Gameplay's
it can
not
be a little bit tedious, but once you get like into the zone, it's I don't know, it's kind of pretty addictive. You go
The
through
track that's always stuck out to me of that game is the Zombie Pirates theme. It's just like it's a fun little goofy brawl theme, where it's just like with the accordion going and all that. It's just I really like that one a lot.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Grab by the Ghoulies is kind of one of those more underappreciated Rare titles. I don't know, it feels like the people that played it like it, but it's one that maybe it's just for what it is because it came out on the original Xbox. And it just was like that offshoot of Rare being bought by Microsoft, and this is like one of the first games they released, and people just didn't get a chance to play it.
It's my turn. The next song I want to talk about is once again from Banjo. I guess I'm showing a lot of Banjo bias. You all are doing more sort of a wide array of songs.
There's banjo tracks on here. I'm just trying to pick like
I'm just
other ones to kind of.
I'm gonna go for it. Bubblegloop Swamp, guys.
Yep, it's good.
Great one.
I was just playing that level just the other day, actually, just in my recent playthrough, and I just love how like it has this little part, then it goes into like the happy part, da 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 da, and just like, every time it goes into that, it's just like it's like in like dopamine rushing in. I just love how that track goes.
I really like how
We
they
talk
have.
about the remix version too, the rejiggied version. Oh my god,
That version's cool.
great.
I really like the way they have like the swamp animals as kind of part of it, but in a way that it's still fairly
Frog.
unobtrusive.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with the frogs croaking and all that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Ambience.
What?
Ambience and atmosphere.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Mhm.
That level's never been my absolute favorite, but that song, ooh, it's great.
Oh no, I'm one that doesn't. I don't. I think in my reviews or whatever, I'm just like, yeah, I don't like poopy looking levels. So I'm not. I don't dislike it. Like it's a well designed level. I just don't like the aesthetic of a swamp.
I liked it. I actually do kind of like its aesthetic. It was more its layout that I don't like exactly as
Yeah,
much.
kinda
I
gets
like
turned
I
around in
like
there.
the swamp because it's something Mario I don't think has ever done, as far as I remember.
I don't know. The only swamp level that I've ever been like, yeah, I really liked that, but then it was a little too long. Was Rayman 2 when you have to
Oh yeah.
When you're on the snake thing.
yes, when you're on
When-
Sam and you go flying.
That
I
could
love
take a
that
while.
level.
Yeah.
But they
That
added like
level's
ghosts
awesome.
and stuff, so that swamp is like mysterious. This swamp is just poop.
I think I'm next.
Yeah, I think it's Aiden's turn now. Yeah.
Aiden, Jordan,
All
what's your
right,
next
well,
pick?
I'm gonna go back to Donkey Kong again, even though we talked about DKC a lot. I gotta mention Gangplank Galleon
Gangplank. Oh yes, gosh, like that was
Classic.
like such a good song. Amazing.
Oh yeah. And then of course the Smash remix,
Yes,
Both of them are great.
absolutely incredible.
the best song in Ultimate. It was just like, dang, that was that remix. They didn't have to go that hard with those trumpets and
No.
everything. It was just like wow.
So good. Yep.
One of the best,
Yeah, that's,
one of the best Smash remixes. Donkey Kong does have pretty good luck when it comes to Smash remixes. I think I talked about Sticker Brush Symphony earlier, or did I forget to talk about that one? I don't remember. Donkey Kong has had really good luck with Smash remixes when you look at like Sticker Brush Symphony and Gangplank Galleon both, which became like they were great songs to begin with, and they got these really top tier Smash remixes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've had far better luck than like Zelda. Some of the Zelda remixes I don't like as much as the original versions. Whereas you look at Donkey Kong, it's just got these great remixes.
Really, really good ones. The only thing I wish was there was a little bit more of for DK was stuff from DK64 because there's only the rap. That's the only thing that's from DK64.
The rap is like, yeah, it's like they cut out hell of a guy.
Yeah.
It just ruins it.
They need to make a new version of the rap, probably that has like, I don't know, like a more dance beat or something, like a YOLO dance version of a DK rap. That'd be funny, I think.
The thought occurred to me that like I don't know why this just random thought. Platonic Games DK64 remake. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Great.
And honestly, I was thinking about that. It was just like they've been like dropping little things saying like whatever they're doing, it's something special. I mean that they're really excited about what they're doing and they're taking their time to do it. So I'm excited to see what they're up to.
All
right.
I think it's Drew.
I think it's my turn now. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next thing I'm thinking of, next track, I'm going to Viva Pinata by Grant Kirkhope. Those great music he did for those games, and the song I'm thinking of here is Bedtime Story, because that was literally Grant's goodbye song to Rare, and you can feel it.
Wow.
And like the way he put it is that like it was my goodbye to a place I never thought I'd want to leave. And he said he poured his heart into it. And when you listen to it, it's like, man, that's the end of an era for him. And like he's sad. He's very sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't listened to much of I played Viva Pinata a little bit on Rare Replay, but I'll have to give that a listen, definitely. I haven't listened to soundtrack for that much, but
the soundtrack is great. Another little tidbit I want to say about is that there's a song in there called Oven Fresh Day, which is the first one I think of Trouble in Paradise, and it happened to originally come on like the Dream soundtrack over 20 years before. So like he kept that song around for a long time, and then he finally used it in Viva Pinata.
I didn't know that.
Da 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 da. Yeah, he finally used it in Viva there.
Awesome.
Let's see, Jiggy, it's your turn again.
Okay, now I'm gonna take us back to Conker, but pre-Bad Fur Day. Okay, we're gonna slide into that main theme from Pocket Tales, because when I think of Conker, that's the first song that comes to my head, and that might be strange for some of you, but I had this game. I was very excited about Conker. And I never understood why my parents wouldn't let me get Conker when I was a kid. Because I had it on Game Boy, right? And it was E for everyone, so it was totally fine. So there's a whole opening intro sequence in Conker's Pocket Tales. And the song is like, dun, 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 dun. And they were going to use it for 12 Tales. And it has this sort of childhood nostalgia for me. It's so iconic in a way, but it's so funny because nobody ever talks about it. Nobody remembers it. They all talk about Windy.
No one talks about that game at all. If I had a penny for every time I saw someone talk about the Gameplay Conker game on social media, I would have less money than I have now. Somehow.
We get so many.
I own it. No, I do own the game. I played it a little bit. I did like what I played of it.
You
Nintendo
Aiden,
Switch Online, it's a thing.
Aiden, you're the one guy who who's actually really puts in the, even people who like love things like Jet Force Gemini or like Mischief Makers or what's Mystical Ninja Goemon or whatever, they don't even talk about, Conker on Game Boy. I've never seen anyone talk about it except for right now, I guess, when Jiggy started talking about it.
Yeah,
No,
Conker's
The
Pocket
intro
Tales.
is terrifying, though, I gotta say.
I knew it existed, but I totally forgot it did. I totally forgot it did. I knew briefly from like Wikipedia or something that existed, and then I just forgot about it after I first learned what Conker was, and it's just like, it's like, Jiggy's mentioning it. It's like, oh yeah, there was another Conker game. I forgot about that.
So who did the music anyway? Was it that?
Wait, Conker dies?
No, Conker's eyes. His
Oh,
eyes are really weird on the title screen, and like
Yeah.
that acorn guy.
Yeah, the
Like
evil
there's something
acorn.
really uncanny about like the intro. I don't know.
So
Huh.
I
I'm gonna have
agree
to
with
watch
you
that.
100%. To answer your question, Drew, Evelyn Fisher and Robin Beanland.
They both did the music for that one. Cool.
Yep. It's really good. Like anybody who likes
finish
the Conker soundtrack, go back and listen to Pocket Tales. And by extension, there is a 12 Tales version out there. I don't know if they have the like complete original soundtrack for 12 Tales or like that main theme, but the Pocket Tales version is basically the same, just Game Boyified.
I mean, knowing Grant, if there's one out there, even if it's not officially available, you could just go up to him like, "Hey, Grant, can you send me X?" And he probably will, knowing him.
Yeah. I really dig it. In that footage that we got from Tim Stamper for 12 Tales, that intro plays, and it plays the Pocket Tales theme just like with N64 fidelity, and it's really good. Well, I had fun making them, so as long as
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember whose turn it was next. I think it was maybe
It's
Jiggy's
Chris.
or.
It was no.
Goldeneye?
Jiggy did Conker.
Yeah, I did
right.
Conker. I was like, wait. what?
Pocket Tales, that's right.
Mine. I don't think I've talked about this one yet, so I'm going with Hailfire Peaks. Did I talk about?
I
this one?
love
yeah.
Hailfire Peaks.
I have that one on my list. Yeah.
Hailfire Peaks. It is. See, it has peak in the name for a reason.
Yeah,
Yes.
we haven't even talked about
That's okay.
Banjo-Tooie music yet. There's so many tracks we could talk about from that game.
Oh
I already
yeah.
have one on my list for the next one.
I have one coming up too at some point on my next turn. Although I suspect Aiden might steal it.
I just refuse.
probably.
I'm not saying any Banjo tracks.
But Hellfire Peaks is just, you've got both the fire side and the ice side versions, just great. I personally enjoy when playing the game hanging out on the ice side better, but the fire side song I think I like better. It's just so bombastic. It's bombastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is great. It's like, I don't even know how to explain it.
There's a bit of it remixed into nuts and bolts in the Jiggylookback theme as well, which sounds great.
Oh yeah. True. That was good. Yeah, it's got that classic Grant Kirkhope like oompa, whatever he calls.
Yeah.
That like.
And it works just as
really
well
good.
for both themes. Both for the fiery and the icy sound, and it just like completely different styles, but like it works for both sides.
And it's very Banjo.
Both sides a little more chill, pun intended. It's a little more chilled. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
A little more downbeat, and then the fire side's a little more intense. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, it's great. It is great. I honestly think people don't talk about that level enough. Like,
I
that's
like it.
one
It's one of my favorites.
I really enjoy that level. I like the fire side a little bit less than the ice side. But I kind of like both of them and going back and forth with them. I do think we kind of did waste one Jiggy on the kickball thing, but
Can I just say the Hailfire Peaks and from Ukulele Tribal Stack Tropics sound very similar to me.
They
Oh,
do.
you know what? I didn't put that together until you just said that, but yeah.
Yeah, I always think that every time I'm like,
That's really
I'm always
similar,
like,
yeah.
which song am I humming? Am I humming Hailfire Peaks or Tribal Stack Tropics? They kind of just merge together in my brain.
They are similar, yeah.
But,
it do be like that. You can always, to some degree, tell when who has kind of put a track together. I remember the first time I played A Hat in Time, and I was in the
one.
Huh?
Dude, the Hub World theme.
I was in
I love that
I was in the spaceship. I still forget me. I was in the spaceship, and it was like,
Yep. That's the
why
one
does
he
the
did.
music sound like Banjo-Kazooie? And I was
it's
like,
so good. I love that track.
I have to Google this. Surely Grant must have done this because it sounds exactly like him. And it's like, yeah, it's him. Because I was
He did
like,
music. Oh, he did. He did music for that.
he did
No
like
idea.
one
Yeah.
song,
Just-
if I
just that
remember
one
right.
song.
It was just
That's
one
yeah.
song, but it's
Even
like the
more so
hub
now.
theme. It's like the hub theme. The
Hub
rest of the
world.
music.
Yep.
The rest of the music in that game doesn't really sound like him. But when I booted that game up, I started playing it.
Really good,
I had
though.
no clue. I had no clue he was involved in it at all. I thought
No,
he,
I didn't either. And no, the same thing happened. I was playing it and I was like, wait a minute, this sounds very familiar. And I looked it up, and sure enough, I was like,
yeah. Me and Aiden had the exact same
that
experience.
sounds like it. Yeah.
We had the exact same experience. Something
I need
similar.
to play it, and I need to hear that music. I need to see it.
Some-
Oh my
look
god,
It's a good
yeah, no,
game.
Time is
It's a
such
great
good
game.
3D platform.
I like
Yeah.
that game. Yeah.
One of my
I
favorites.
had a similar experience when I got Mario plus Rabbids for the first time. It's
Oh,
pretty
man.
early on in the Switch lifespan. It was my fourth, I think it was, Switch game after Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Odyssey. I got Rabbids, and I started playing it. It's like, why does the music sound like Banjo? I was like, what? It's like, this is just, I expected the music to sound like Mario music. It's like, why does the music sound like Banjo? And so then I went to
Yeah, shout out to those soundtracks.
then I
too.
went to Wikipedia. I had my brother do it or something. I was playing the game, obviously. I was watching like the opening cutscene. And it was like, oh. It's like, yeah, but there was a reason. And then it kind of, a few years later, again, when I got a hand in time and really started playing it, something similar happened. It was kind of like a deja vu moment. It's like, oh, this is just some indie game. It's got some like indie soundtrack, and it's like, why does it sound like Grant? I did a double
You got that
take.
style.
I did a double
Certain
take.
style.
It works though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So sticking with Banjo-Tooie, I have Atlantis.
Oh man.
Atlantis. Oh yeah. That one's like. It's
Might
like
be the best track in the game.
I prefer the above.
Yeah, it might be.
I prefer the above water Jolly Roger Lagoon version.
Also
Yeah, that's
amazing.
really good too. That's really good too. I love that world. I don't know.
That's my I'm going to be honest with you guys. This might be a hot take. I always liked the kind of sea coastal town kind of part of that better than the underwater parts. I like hanging around, collecting the doubloons, doing stuff with Tip Top. It's just, I really enjoyed just kind of hanging around there on the surface. When I go underwater, it's just kind of like, it's not really unenjoyable, but I feel like I like it less than Clankel's Cavern, personally, which might be a hot take. I know Aiden disagrees with this. Sure,
Yeah.
you do get infinite air if you do the oxygenizing thing, but still, I
Yeah.
always like kind of the layout of Clankel's Cavern. But also, Clankel's Cavern has Clanker, who's great.
Clinker's awesome. I mean, Clinker's Cavern might probably the best 3D water level ever made.
Yeah, thank you.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Can I get
I
a
don't know.
word in the chat, guys? Ward.
I honestly think 2E's Atlantis is probably the best water level I've ever played because as long as you learn the faster swimming from your pet goldfish,
Yeah.
it's pretty
Worse than-
serviceable.
the
The controls in 2E are the best, probably underwater controls, but I like the layout, the level design of
I could live without the
Clanker.
octopus.
Ones in DK64 aren't
Yeah.
bad.
This is not what this is on.
Don't. It's Drew's turn.
It is. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
think it is.
I've had trouble thinking of another piece to come up with. We've really gone over quite a good variety of tunes and such. Just kind of racking my brain for a minute. There's something I thought of. Oh yes. Final Battle from Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
What a good just
Yeah.
end boss theme.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's kind of like how it's remixed from the kind of main Gruntilda theme.
Mm-hmm. Even puts in a little bit
Yeah,
of
no, that'd be-
Rusty Bucket Bay in there, and it goes on for it's like 4 minutes, isn't it? The whole tune. It's between 3 and 4. It's a decently long tune, and I remember just that final boss was so hard to me, but that whole tune got ingrained in my brain. It's just trying to defeat Gruntilda, and
You had
it
to
was
play it so much you couldn't help but love the tune.
no,
Yeah, it's one of my
exactly.
favorite final boss themes ever.
You've got
Yeah,
the,
it's so
the
good.
whole
Together, right?
Gruntilda leitmotif. It's like You know, it's like it gives kind of a cinematic feel.
Yeah.
You know, it gives it a cinematic feel, kind of the conclusion to kind of this, you know, song that you've always been hearing whenever, you know, Grunty's around talking to you and the, you know, layer or whatever.
Yes.
And then
Grunty has like this. Grunty has like this sub thing, which is like ba 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 ba. Which now that I think about it, sounds like K-Rool's theme in DK64.
Yep.
But when I think of Grunty, I think of the Gruntilda's layer theme. It's
Yes.
And then of course the boss version. You know, it's really epic. It's, as I said, kind of cinematic. It's a great
It's a
one.
shame we never got a Smash remix of that.
Oh man,
They don't even need a remix. Honestly, it's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if it was in there, like just the normal version.
It's just as is. It would be the perfect track to smash to. Honestly, Aiden, you want to smash to Grunty's final boss theme?
Yeah. No. no, I'm good. I'm good, Chris. I don't know.
Well, you already said yeah, so he's just gonna edit that.
I don't know about that one.
And just say yeah.
Yeah, he probably will. Cancel me. Man.
Oh.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Jiggy's turn
And
again.
I feel like this is rounding out the bunch. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna give.
After Chris, then we could probably.
I'm gonna give what I think is probably one of the best rare tunes ever made. Okay, are you ready for this?
Do it.
We're going back to Conker again.
Do it.
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, good music.
I didn't want to throw a banjo out there. I did let the record show. I did not throw a banjo out there, though I was tempted. But you guys said a lot of the ones I like, anyways.
I'll be doing more banjo before this is through.
I will say, if I can just say one honorable mention, it's Treasure Trove Cove. Love that track.
Classic. Yep.
But the tune I want to talk about is Great Mighty Poo.
Yes, I thought you were going to say that.
I thought about this when you were talking about not liking poo-looking levels when we were doing Bubblegloop.
Yeah. I know, and
I haven't even played the game, but I know the song.
Yeah. So I don't like
how
when
how did this come about? I've always wondered, how did this whole idea come about?
I know.
Jiggy doesn't like poo-looking levels because he doesn't like things that reminds him of poo. He only likes the real thing. He's a true poo connoisseur.
Yes, exactly.
A purist.
I don't like poo-looking levels. I like poo. Okay.
You want the real thing or nothing at all?
Yes.
He wants the real poo and nothing.
Let me tell you the story because I know the story of how this came to be. So. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking. Chris Marlowe. Marlowe is the voice of the Great Mighty Poo. Okay, and
Shout out.
he does opera singing. Like
yes.
That's just what he does. It's just like a hobby he has, or he's like a trained opera singer. Anyway, so they were just like coming up because Conker was just basically them coming up with ideas every day and just putting them in the game, essentially. So my understanding is that Chris Marlowe took a giant poo in the Rare office and called Chris Seaver over and was like, "You've got to come look at this poo."
Oh my God.
And like a bunch of people came up and looked at it and they were like, "Oh man, that should be a boss." And like somehow they just decided that it was going to be a thing, and that's how the Great Mighty Poo was made.
I would have loved it in like the writer's room, for that. Oh my God.
And then because it was his poo, Chris Marlowe did it, and they found out he sang opera, so they're like, we gotta.
Why do you sound like you're
one
eating
thing
now?
eating.
What are you eating?
Oh, I apologize. I put Reese's Pieces in my mouth.
See, sounding like you're eating when talking about poo is a really bad look, Jiggy.
Oh no. Oh,
I was so disturbed there for a minute. It's like, he better not be doing what I think he's doing.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
All right, well, yeah, Great Mighty Poo.
You ruined his appetite.
I'm
Man.
sorry.
So funny. I'm going to mention, when they do that little back and forth near the end, like, I'm going to take your head and ram it up my butt, and they go back and forth.
butt?
It's so funny.
My butt. Yeah.
My butt.
That's right, my butt.
Yeah.
My butt. My butt.
I can just
So
imagine
good. I love
anyone
it. That's
who's
one of the
hearing
best
this
bosses
video,
in
like,
video game history. It's one of the best
Yeah.
bosses ever.
One of the, yeah, easily.
I honestly think it's probably the best rare boss in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I
And
think
It's iconic.
Battle of the Mr.
Conker's
Patch.
not even my favorite rare game, but I think that's the best boss. It's
Battle,
just so
Battle of the
best-
Mr. Patch.
Crazy. Bring me your
Mr.
sweet
Patch is
corn.
great, but yeah, I think it's better than Mr. Patch.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Good.
can't give Banjo credit for everything because I feel like if I talk about the music, I'm like Banjo has the best music.
it has a lot of the best music for
It's
sure.
up there. Yeah.
It's got. I think the thing is that it not only has quality, but it has quantity.
Mm-hmm.
So it has quality and quantity. Whereas like Conker, I feel doesn't have as many memorable tracks.
DK64.
Like the soundtrack overall is good, but the quantity of quality tracks that you really stick in your head is not very high.
DK64 is like that.
DK, you think DK? I was gonna say DK64 has great tracks. I could have
I
named
think it does. I think it has a decent number of very good tracks in there.
I think they do really good stuff with the soundtrack, but they just don't stick in my head like the Banjo ones do, guys.
If I wouldn't have said Great Mighty Poo, I would have said DK Isle.
Now that one is great. Now that one is.
Mentioned that earlier.
That one is great. That is one that is great. I will go.
I love all the different variations of the DKIL theme, where like all the different hubs, like you go to like exactly a gloomy galleon. It like sounds all gloomy and it does those cool instruments, and then oh my gosh, it just so many. Just the variations on that song are amazing alone.
If Jungle Japes was the postal song, the poster boy song, the defining theme of Donkey Kong Country, then the DK Isle theme is the defining song of 64.
Yeah, and the shout out to the Rabbids remix. When I first heard that, I was like getting emotional. I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. And the DK DLC. I don't know if anybody
I played
that.
some of it. I need to play more.
Yeah,
no, that
I need to play more.
He remixed the theme, and it's like,
it's amazing.
All right. Oh boy, it's my turn again. I'm doing the last one to finish off. I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Final song.
I'm pretty sure I didn't mention this song earlier. I could be wrong, in which case I will fix this later. But I'm pretty sure I didn't mention this. Jinjo Village.
Oh, great tune.
And
great tune.
While I'm at it, I want to also shout out the King Jingling version, but I don't really care super much for once his palace is destroyed. But there's the really fancy one you hear when you first meet him before he becomes a zombie. That only just plays very briefly as you first meet him. It's so sad because you can never really hear it again on that save. Well, I guess you can once right before the final boss if you go back to him after.
True.
If you go back to him after you've reversed the Blastomatic, but before doing the Hag one, I guess you can hear it again. But for most of your save file, you can't really go back and hear that one. But that version's great. The standard version's great. Like, when I think of Banjo-Tooie, I think about this, like, this song lives rent-free in my head, guys. Like, I would just be, like, walking around and it would be like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oh yeah, it gets in my head all the time.
It is the ultimate earworm, perhaps more than any of the other Banjo songs, because it is so simple. It's not really overdone or over-orchestrated. It was just
simple and positive, upbeat. Yep.
Yeah, really good, just happy, uplifting tune. Yeah, I like that one a lot too.
Yeah, it's just so
released it as a single.
So catchy.
It's awesome.
So catchy, guys. Just amazing track. Lives in my head rent free.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait, anyone have any honorable mentions before we go? Anything else you kind of want to run through? Just out of order.
The boss race theme from Diddy Kong Racing. That one's really good.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's. I was replaying it recently.
Did we say the title track?
It's stuck in my head.
The first minecart, I'm going to mention really quick. The first minecart level from DK64. That one is just like, whoa! It's just like it's like okay, it's just Diddy Kong in a minecart, and it's like it slaps. It's so good.
Diddy Kong in a minecart always goes hard, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what's going on. Just you get Diddy Kong in a minecart, you know, great stuff's about to happen.
Yep.
I like the music that plays with Trough and Scoff and Donkey Kong 64 too.
Oh yeah.
It's like very just chill.
Kind of magical sounding. I like that one too.
Yeah.
And they put like the when you open the door, they put in the same thing that was supposed to be with stop and swap when you got an item.
I'm going to change the subject here just briefly, because just random thought coming in my head. But I will say, Drew, you're like probably the best speaker I know. No, unironically, like, when you say this stuff, it sounds both, like, more rehearsed and less scatterbrained than, like, mine and Aiden's stuff. But, like, not so rehearsed that it sounds stiff. Jiggy's pretty good at it, too, but I think you're even better than he is. No offense, Jiggy, of course.
Oh, I'm so offended.
I mean, when it's something I know about, I guess like I guess I at least I can say I guess I know how to talk about it, I guess.
Yeah.
I think Drew is really good, especially when it comes to music, at articulating his thoughts.
Yeah, music is kind of like the thing that gets me the most. Like in terms of video games, it's a thing that like the thing is like as I'm getting older, I'm getting busier and busier. Like I'm just working every day and stuff like that. I having a growing family. The one thing I'm able to keep with me as far as video games, well, from my childhood and now, is the music of it, because I can listen to it every day while I'm working. You know, that's the part that I can always keep with me. So I guess it's part of where my passion comes from with it.
Alright, well that's it for today. I do want to, of course, thank everyone who's in this video. Jiggylookback, Drewstalgic, and of course Aiden, Mushman. And also I do want to thank, of course, the composers of Whale for making all the great music that they did. And I want to thank you, the viewer, for watching this video. Please be sure and like and subscribe. It does help me out a lot. If you like this video, if you like us talking about the music, maybe send this video to a friend. I really could, help use the views. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.